This broadcast on letsgoicctv.com is presented by Renaissance Bank, Little Caesars, Food Giant, the Sonic of Fulton, your Etowah County Farm Bureau agent Joey Cox, the ICC BSU, Bank of Okolona, Legend Sports Grill, the ICC Wesley Foundation, Choice Pawn, Kegel Eye Center, Tupelo Coca-Cola Bottling Works, the ICC Alumni Association, and the ICC Foundation.
You could say it's about the clubs. You could say it's about the ball. You could even say it's about the course or the weather. But what it really comes down to is consistency and hard work. Over and over and over again. At Renaissance, we understand consistency. We understand hard work. Most importantly, we understand you. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you.
Need money now? Get a Choice Pawn loan on things you already own, like guns, boats, campers, trailers, recreational vehicles, and just about everything else. Get a loan from Choice Pawn in Fulton and Tupelo. Get cash today. ChoicePawn.com.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as Hunter Hughes is taking his final warm-up tosses here, as we're just moments away from that Renaissance Bank opening pitch here in Game 1 between ICC and Coahoma. As we talked about, a very, very big game this afternoon here in division play, as both these teams right now in the hunt for the playoffs. ICC currently tied for 6th place. They do have the head-to-head tiebreaker with Gulf Coast, so technically they are in 6th place. Coahoma, however, tied with Hines, and I believe they still have to play Hines later this season. They're in that last spot for the playoffs, with a couple of teams nipping at their heels as well, Delta, Colin, and East Mississippi. We'll take a look at some more of those standings throughout the contest today as we await this Renaissance Bank opening pitch. And it's going to be a flare out to right field, and it's going to drop for a base hit. So the first pitch of the game coming at 3:03, and it results in a single for Joe G to start the contest.
The left fielder, number 4, Zach Gilder.
Now up is going to be Zach Gilder for the Tigers. Zach is batting .353 on the year. Has a .444 on base percentage and .578 slugging percentage. Shows bunt, lays it down, and the pitcher just can't get to it. So that's going to be an infield single there for the Tigers. So everything starting off pretty well for the Tigers here. 2 on, no out here. We're in the top of the first inning.
Now batting the right fielder, number 3, Marquellis Edgston.
And this is going to be Marquellis Edgston coming to the plate, batting .372 on the year. He has .486 on base percentage, .575 slugging. They have 3 players with double digits in steals. Joe G, who is on second, has got 11. Edgston at the plate leading the way with 16. And Hector Torres, number 9 batter, with 10. Grounder right back up the middle. Taylor-made double play here. There's 1, and there's 2. No, says he just beat the throw. So a fielder's choice there. And score that 1-6 on the putout to get Gilder. I think a better throw from the pitcher to second base that time and would have been able to turn 2. The throw was a little lazy getting there. So a break there for the Tigers. Now runners on the corners, and this is going to be Alexis Rodriguez, the catcher, coming to the plate. Rodriguez on the year batting .270. Swings on the first pitch he sees, fouls it out of play for strike 1. Got a .270 batting average, .402 on base percentage, and a .393 slugging percentage for Rodriguez, who is catching here in Game 1. Runners on the corners for the Tigers. Top of the first with 1 out. That pitch missing low for a ball. 1-1 now goes the count. Well, as we mentioned, softball still in action. They're up 3-1 in the middle of the 5th over Coahoma. That's on the Blue Channel for those that may want to check in on softball. Runner goes, swing on and miss. Throw down is not in time, and then this throw home is not going to be there. Well, it one-hopped the shortstop that time, so that is going to be A double steal executed nicely that time, and 1-0 now is the score in favor of Coahoma. Well, a good throw down would have got the runner at second, but the throw was a little short, kind of jammed up the shortstop for the Indians. That's Connor Lewis. Couldn't get the throw home in enough time, and the very speedy Cho Chi was able to score 1-0 now. Coahoma with the lead. Top of the first, one out and a runner on second. There's a shot to the second baseman, gets it. One play, that's over to first, and it's in time for out number 2. Score that one 4-3 on the putout of Rodriguez. Now up will be Colton Norris.
Number 18, Colton Norris.
He is the third baseman. He's batting .295 on the year. He's got a .375 on base percentage, and .410 is his slugging percentage. Swings of the first pitch he sees, pops it up. It's going to get out of play for strike one. Did it hit a vehicle? It hit a vehicle. Not a very big crowd out today. Of course, a 3 o'clock start. We do expect it to kind of fill in as the day goes. Line shot out to left field, but there's LeBryant Siddell to reel that one in. And in the inning. So the Tigers get 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. So a good start to the contest there for Coahoma. So Joe Fisher will come to the hill here for the Tigers with a 1-0 lead. We'll take a break and hear a few words from our sponsors and be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
Ever since you got that license, you haven't stopped moving forward. Now that you're older and on the move, you need a safer place to keep your money. We get it. A student checking account frees you up with things like mobile check deposit to take care of that check from grandma without having to stop at a bank. Pay with your phone when you're out with friends. And stop worrying about ATM fees. We'll pay you back for those. Worry about your future, not your money. And know that we'll stick with you wherever you go. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you. Member FDIC.
At Food Giant, serving you is our #1 priority. We offer the freshest produce, highest quality meats, tasty baked goods, and the best meats and cheeses in our deli department. Check out this week's specials.
Wow! Tyson breaded chicken, $2.99 a pack. Bush's Best Baked or Grillin' Beans, 2 for $3. And russet potatoes, 5-pound bag, 2 for $4.
At Food Giant, you'll always find a staff member eager to help you find exactly what you need. Freshness, variety, value. Shop Food Giant today with several locations in North Mississippi.
And welcome back to action, ladies and gentlemen, as we move now to the bottom of the first inning. ICC trailing 1-0 here after a double steal executed nicely there by the Tigers in the top part of the inning. It was Joe Green singling, eventually coming around to score as he advanced to third. Whenever Edgston reached on a fielder's choice, Edgston was able to steal second. And as soon as the throw went down, there comes G stealing home for a 1-0 lead. It'll be Kyle Krieger, the second baseman, to lead things off here for the Indians. He takes a look at that first pitch, high for a ball. Krieger, .380 on the year, .420 on base percentage. .528 is his slugging percentage. This pitch fouled back. It evens the count now at 1-1. Well, if I sound a little funny, folks, I do apologize in advance. Constant change in the weather, being out in the weather the other day at Gulf Coast, and my voice, if it's going to last 2 games today, I won't be impressed. This pitch fouled out of play, way out of play for a foul. And that one, off the side of a truck. That's the reason why you don't park anywhere near Crescent Field. 1-2 pitch, ground ball, shortstop has plenty of time, puts a glove on it, throws over for the putout of Krieger. And so 1 away now, as that is a 6-3 on the putout of Krieger, and that'll bring up Jackson Lancaster.
Now batting the center fielder.
Coach Collier is
Jackson Lancaster.
really mixed up the lineup. Usually it's Connor Lewis that's been leading off the way this season, and he has slid all the way down to the 8 spot. Lancaster was down in that 6-7 spot. It slid all the way up to number 2 spot. So he's playing in center field here in game 1. 1-0 is your score. It's that pitch right down Broadway for a strike. Indians in their red tops, white pants, blue stirrups with red and white stripes. As there's a shot, shortstop couldn't get to it. Is this going to get through there for a base hit? Take a look at that on the Little Caesars replay. Good effort over there at short, just couldn't quite get to it quick enough. And so with 1 out and a runner on first, this is going to bring up Hunter Neighbors.
Hunter Neighbors.
Well, Neighbors has been playing pretty well this season, and there's one team that has taken notice of that, and that's the Ole Miss Rebels. As Hunter Neighbors is scheduled to sign with Ole Miss here pretty soon. So he'll continue to wear the red and blue next season. Follow the likes of Timothy Rowe, former Indian, as that curveball across for a strike. So 1-0 is your score. Runner on first with 1 out here for the Indians. That runner is Jackson Lancaster. Lancaster, 5 steals on the season. As there's a shot that's going to get through the gap. Neighbors able to just blast that one through there. Nice looking hit that time off the bat of Hunter Neighbors. Back-to-back singles now, and the Indians with runners on first and second. And here comes LeBryant Siddell.
Number 18, LeBryant Siddell.
LeBryant has been swinging a hot bat, had 2 home runs in 1 game against Southwest, so hopefully the Indians would love to see LeBryant continue to swing that hot bat here. As they trail 1-0, runners on first and second with 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Game 1 scheduled for 9 innings. So Siddell awaits the pitch, takes it inside for a strike. Well, the scouting report is out on the Indians. You don't want anybody that can throw hard because the Indians can hit hard pitching. So if you got kind of a knuckleball or a, not to sound disrespectful, but a pitcher that can throw chunk, then you can cause the Indians some problems. Is that pitch missing high? Or swung on a miss on a high pitch, I should say, by Siddell, and he's behind the count now. 0-2. So runners on first and second with 1 out. Siddell at the plate. Looks at a curveball, grounder to the third baseman, bobbles it, throws over in time, but the runners are able to advance. 5-3 on the putout of Siddell. Got the job done. Really surprised the third baseman did not try to turn around and step on third on that play. So consider that a break there for the Indians. And now up is going to be the DH, Jacob Hall. So Hall will dig in with 2 outs, and man, it's 2-out hitting. That can make and break a team on a season, and right now the Indians need to come up with a big 2-out hit here. Hall takes a look at the first pitch, takes a healthy swing, and misses for strike 1. Either a base hit, a wild pitch, or anything to get this tying run over from third. The Indians don't want to leave any runners on the bases. That's one thing the softball team has been struggling with over the last couple of weeks, is not coming up with crucial hits with runners in scoring position. That pitch missing low and inside for a ball. 1-1 now is the count here on Jacob Hall, the DH. I know Jacob's mom's watching, would love to see Jacob have a great performance today. Swung on and missed for strike 2. Just that curveball that fell off the table. Bottomed out that time. Couldn't find a piece of it. 1-2 now is the count with 2 outs. Justin Medlin on deck. Would love to get a chance to bat here in this inning. 2 outs. Runners on second and third here for the Indians. They trail 1-0 to Coahoma. And there's strike 3. Got him looking at a beautiful little slider that slid its way back into the strike zone for the first Renaissance Bank strikeout of the day, and a big one there as it ends the inning and stops the threat for the Indians. So the Indians get no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. We'll take a break and come back with the top of the second inning after this here on Let'sGoICCTV.com and FM 95 Sports.
The longer a person has diabetes, the more likely they are to develop diabetic retinopathy. If left untreated, diabetic retinopathy can lead to blindness. That's why it's important for diabetics to have a comprehensive eye examination with dilation once a year. I'm Dr. Laurie Cagle of Cagle Eye Center in Fulton. We offer comprehensive eye exams to provide diagnosis and treatment of various eye diseases. Browse our large selection of frames available in prescription and non-prescription. Call to schedule your appointment today at Cagle Eye Center in Fulton.
I could get the extra most bestest with the most cheese and the most pepperoni for $6. Or I could get a pizza with less toppings for more money.
Get the most cheese and most pepperoni for the nation's best price. Little Caesars large $6 extra most bestest.
Pizza.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we get set here for the top of the second inning. ICC trailing Coahoma 1-0 after a double steal in the top of the first. Put a run across for the Tigers.
Leading off for the Tigers, number 12, Kyler Johnson.
A Renaissance Bank scoreboard update. Softball leading Coahoma 5-1 after back-to-back RBI singles off the bats of Mackenzie Piper and Macy Cox. That's after 5 complete. At first pitch across for a strike. This is Kyler Johnson, the DH, at the plate. And that pitch hangs up just a bit too high for a ball. 1-1 is the count. Well, not a very big crowd out today at all. There's a ground ball. Second baseman gets it. Blocks it up nicely. Throws over in time for the putout. So 4-3 to retire Johnson for the first out of the inning. And now up is going to be Deontay Reeves, the shortstop.
Now batting the shortstop, number 11, Deontay Reeves.
So Reeves will dig in here for the Tigers with 1 out in the inning and nobody on. Curveball slips in there for a strike. 0-1 now is the count. Not a very alive atmosphere here at the ballpark. That pitch in the dirt, missing for a ball. 1-1 now is the count. A lot of people may be just waiting to get off work, or if you are in the listening area of FM 95 Sports, you have plenty of time to get out here for today's doubleheader in baseball. Of course, Game 1 only available here on FM 95 Sports. Game 2 on Let'sGoICCTV.com. That pitch in the dirt gets away, but nobody on to do any damage. 2-1 now goes the count here to Deontay Reeves, the shortstop. Of course, you can hear Amory baseball here on FM 95 Sports. Ed Stanford and company always doing a great job out there in Amory. This one's popped up, and it's going to just be a little blooper over the head of the shortstop. And so that'll be the third hit of the day for the Tigers. Very odd to hear a base hit and no applause behind it.
15, Matthew Newcomb.
And so now up, this will be Matthew Newcomb, the first baseman. So a runner at first. And 1 out. That curveball a beauty. Just zips right through there for a strike. 0-1 now is the count. Coach Sean Cannon said he's going to try to catch up with us in today's broadcast after he gets out of football practice. Of course, spring practice going on right now. We talked about that earlier in the week, or I should say on Monday, on Live with the Tribe. Of course, if you're unfamiliar with Live with the Tribe, it comes on every Monday at noon, unless something comes up schedule-wise that we can't do it. Every Monday at noon where we interview coaches, players, and more. Just a little extra talk show to get to know more about the ICC athletics here at Itawamba Community College. 0-2 pitch coming, swung on and missed for strike 3. A Renaissance Bank strikeout there. Got him to chase one outside the zone. The first Renaissance Bank strikeout of the day
the center fielder, number
for
7,
Hunter
Hector
Hughes.
Torres.
And now what will be the number 9 batter, Hector Torres, the center fielder here for Coahoma. That pitch just missing low for a ball. So 1-0 is the count here to Torres with a runner at first and 2 outs. This pitch fouled back for strike 1. It's going to get hit twice off the hitting facility here at the ballpark. I'm going to turn up the crowd mic and try to monitor it when music comes on because there's just no atmosphere. Runner goes. Throw down is in time. No, he dropped the ball. Well, the throw was there in time. Had him dead to rights. Just could not hang on to the baseball. And so a stolen base for Reeves. And that's one thing Coahoma does well as a team. They have stole 61 bases. The Indians have only stole 39 this year. That's how they got their first run of the game, was on a double steal. So 2-1 now is the count. 2 outs and a runner on second after the Tigers get a gift there. As that pitch across for a strike. Indians had the third out of the inning but dropped it on the tag on the slide. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs and a runner on second. Deuce is wild here in the top of the second inning. Hughes checks the runner. Now delivers, and there's no. Said it was just up too high. Good looking pitch there. Don't know what much more the home plate umpire was wanting. That one right across the bottom of the rib cage. Neighbors asked the umpire where it was, and he didn't give him any signal, so I don't know if he just said where it was. 3-2 now is the count with a runner on second. So Hughes going to try to battle back here. Pops this pitch up, back and out of play. And we'll stay at 3-2. Well, not a Chamber of Commerce-like day here at the ballpark, but not a bad day. As long as the rain holds off. I don't think it's supposed to get up to about 10% chance of rain until about 8 o'clock tonight. So we do encourage you to come out and support the Indians this afternoon at the ballpark. Curveball, and there's ball 4. Well, that one's on the umpire there. And I think he knows it, as he missed the strike 3 call. And so now the runner will head down to first.
Second baseman,
now with
2,
runners
Joe G.
on first and second. This will bring up Joe G. G is 1 for 1 of the day. He singled, advanced to third eventually after a fielder's choice by Edgston. Stole home to score the only run of the contest so far. Pitch in the dirt, blocked up nicely that time by Hunter Neighbors. Runners unable to advance. After 6 complete in softball, it's 6-1 ICC over Coahoma. Vasquez singles to score Lily Moore to give the Indians that 6-1 lead after 6. That pitch drifts high for a ball. 2-0 now is the count. Boy, I tell you what, after that good-looking curveball that was called a ball, looks like it's kind of gotten in the head of Hunter Hughes here. You just got to shake that off. That was clearly a strike 3 call to the umpire, and that's part of the game. You know, that's one thing I love about baseball, softball, is the human error effect. And that was the case there for the home plate umpire. And looking to throw to second. And the runner retreated back without a throw. 2-0 is the count here on Joe G., the second baseman. Runners on first and second. G stepping out of the box to reset himself. And there's strike 1. Thought it was strike 3 for a second. I apologize with that extra bit of excitement on the first strike call, but it was a beautiful fastball on that inside corner for strike 1. 2-1 now goes the count. There's a shot that's going to get over the head of the second baseman. They're going to try to, nope, they're going to hold the runner at third. Probably a smart call. And so now bases will be full of Tigers here. And that is going to be the second hit of the game for Joe G. And now up is going to be Zach Gilder, the left fielder.
Left fielder, number 4, Zach Gilder.
Boy, I tell you what, if the Tigers can score a run here, that's going to be huge. Especially after a missed strike 3 call. That should have ended the inning. Trying to check swing, fouled it back for strike 1. So the Indians got to find a way to dig deep here. Bases loaded. Top of the second, ICC trailing 1-0. Curveball hangs up high. 1-1 now is the count here on Gilder. Bases loaded for the Tigers. 2 hits so far in the inning. It was a 2-out walk and a single that's loaded them up. Nice change of pace that time on a curveball. Nothing on that one as Gilder swings and misses. 1-2 now is the count. Actually a changeup there out of the hand of Hunter Hughes. 1-2 offering, swung on and missed for strike 3. A big-time Renaissance Bank strikeout there gets the Indians out of a bases-loaded jam. His second Renaissance Bank strikeout of the game. So the Tigers get no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 3 left on base. We'll head to the bottom of the second. ICC trails it 1-0. We'll take a break and be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com and FM 95 Sports.
You could say it's about the clubs. You could say it's about the ball. You could even say it's about the course or the weather. But what it really comes down to is consistency and hard work. Over and over and over again. At Renaissance, we understand consistency. We understand hard work. Most importantly, we understand you. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you.
Sonic Nights is the highlight of the summer.
Oh, yeah. There's probably some pretty big names here checking out these half-price floats.
Oh, everyone who's anyone is here tonight. Look, there are those 2 guys.
What are they famous for?
Huh. I think for eating here all the time.
Are we good at eating here or what?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, come on.
For a limited time, get real ice cream slushes, shakes, and floats half price after 8 p.m. during Sonic Nights. This is how you Sonic.
And welcome back now as we move to the bottom of the second inning. Where to be Medlin, Palmer, and Lewis to start things off here for the Indians. ICC trailing 1-0. They got runners on second and third, but could not push them across in the bottom of the first. Medlin takes a healthy chop at that one, swings and misses for strike 1. Well, as we said, a very unique atmosphere today. Almost like a Sunday afternoon where you're sitting at church and everyone kind of counting down the minutes to lunch, waiting to get out of church. Is that pitch? Wow, clips the inside corner for a strike. 0-2 now is the count. Starting to hear a little bit of chatter out of the ICC dugout. So 0-2 is the count here. And this one popped back out of play and will stay at 0-2. Nice job by Medlin, finding a piece of that pitch on the outside corner to foul it off and keep the at-bat alive. Justin Medlin, Hayden Palmer, and Connor Lewis due up here in the bottom of the second. Medlin batting .298 with a .375 on base percentage. And swings and misses for strike 3. Good job by the catcher that time, hanging on to it after he was able to just find a piece of it. That is the second Renaissance Bank strikeout of the game for Justin Fisher.
Now batting to third base
for Fisher,
32, Hayden Palmer.
He came in the season with 17 strikeouts. So now this is going to be Hayden Palmer, the third baseman, up for the Indians. Big looping curveball, just couldn't quite pull the string on it enough as it hangs up for a ball. Lights are on here in Fulton. ICC trailing 1-0 here in the bottom of the second, game 1 against Coahoma. This pitch popped up a mile high. Third baseman is going to chase over. Camps underneath it and squeezes it for out number 2. Tricky play over there on that far side of the field, as it's got a pretty big slope over there when you're coming off third base. And if you're not used to that, a lot of times you see players try to cut back and lose their footing, but a good job by the third baseman, Colton Norris, across the way to be able to get that one and squeeze it for out number 2. This is going to be Connor Lewis, the shortstop, at the plate. Takes a look at that first pitch, high for a ball. So 1-0 is your score. Indians with 2 hits in the contest, 4 for the Tigers. Lewis takes a look at that pitch, just missing low for a ball. And that one Another borderline pitch not going the way of Fisher there, and he's quickly behind the count now, 3-0. 3 balls, no strikes, 2 outs, and nobody on here for the Indian. Bottom of the second. Lewis taking the whole way that time. Pitch at the knees, called a strike. 3-1 now goes the count. Almost one of those look like after letting a couple of borderline pitches get away from the pitcher, it was going to be called a strike either way. So now 3-1 is the count. And there's ball 4. Another pitch just missing. Going the way of the Indians there. So a 2-out walk issued to Connor Lewis. And now this is going to be Drake Wallace coming to the plate.
Number 30, Drake Wallace.
So a lot of people listening here on FM 95 Sports. Pulling for the 2 sports star here out of Amory, Drake Wallace. He played football. Now playing baseball for the Indians. Didn't play football last year. Didn't play baseball last year. Takes that first pitch at the knees for a strike. So the Indians looking for a 2-out hit here to try to extend the inning. A runner at first. That's Connor Lewis, who drew a 5-pitch walk. Wallace pops one up. Right fielder's going to have to hurry, and he's going to be able to get to it. No, it's off his glove. And that's going to score a run. Wallace is going to try to get to third on the error. He will not, but the run will score. So Lewis was able to get around the bases in a hurry there, trying to stretch that out to a 3-run error. Could not do so. A break there for the Indians as the run does score, and we're tied at 1. As you take a look at the end of the play here, and pretty good relay in by the shortstop. Got Drake dead to rights over at third, but the Indians do push the run across. 1-1 is your score. We'll take a break and be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com and FM 95 Sports.
This broadcast on Let'sGoICCTV.com is presented by Renaissance Bank, Little Caesars, Food Giant, the Sonic of Fulton, your Etowah County Farm Bureau agent Joey Cox, the ICC BSU, Bank of Okolona, Legend Sports Grill, the ICC Wesley Foundation, Choice Palm, Kegel Eye Center, Tupelo Coca-Cola Bottling Works, the ICC Alumni Association, and the ICC Foundation.
Edgston.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as this is going to be Edgston leading things off. The 3-4-5 batters due up here for Coahoma. 1-1 is your score. We have played 2 here in game 1. And this pitch lifted up. Center fielder going out and squeezes it for out number 1 in the inning. Now that's going to bring up Alexis Rodriguez, the catcher.
Now batting
for the
catcher,
Tigers.
number 13, Alexis Rodriguez.
Remind you, if you have to step away from your radio or your computer, you can follow us on Twitter at Let's Go ICC for updates here in game 1. It's that first pitch across for a strike. This pitch fouled back for strike 2. 0-2 now is the count here on Rodriguez. He grounded out to the second baseman in his first at bat of the day. So 0-2 now is the count here to Rodriguez. Swung on and missed for strike 3. Big time strikeout there. Just zipped that one right past Rodriguez. Couldn't catch up with it.
Baseman, number 18.
As that is the third Renaissance Bank strikeout of the day, and that's going to bring up Colton Norris now. Norris swings on the first pitch he sees. It's going to be a little flare out and a little hit over the head of the shortstop, and Nothing really anybody could do that time for the Indians. They just put it where they ain't. As that is going to drop for the 5th hit of the game here for the Tigers.
For the Tigers, number 12, Kyler Johnson.
So now this is going to be Johnson, who grounded out to second. And his first at bat of the day coming to the plate. Nasty curveball across for a strike right at the knees of Johnson. Johnson, the DH. The runner on first and 2 outs here. Top of the 3rd, ICC and Coahoma tied at 1. Fastball hit but delivered foul out of play. Well, good news for the person who had his truck hit twice. There's now a car parked in front of it. So at least it's got something guarding it a little bit. So 0-2 is the count. And that pitch fouled back. Looked like it was either off of the protective gear of the catcher or the home plate umpire. I believe it was the home plate umpire. He's just going to walk off for a second and retrieve that foul ball. Neighbors talking to him, making sure he's okay, trying to score some brownie points and maybe extend that strike zone a little bit. 0-2 now is the count. Runner at first. This pitch popped up, and it's going to get out of play, and we'll stay at 0-2 once again. Starting to see a little bit more of the ICC faithful or some of these students coming out to the ballpark. Of course, a lot of times softball is here. They're actually playing today. We'll try to find you a final score on that one as they were leading 6-1 in the 6th over there in Game 1 sophomore day for softball. Ground ball, and it's going to be a foul ball, and we'll stay at 0-2 once again. Kyler Johnson, a nice at bat right now, getting deep in the pitch count of Hunter Hughes. So winning the 0-2 pitch here. Indians trying to find the exit here in the top of the 3rd. Snap throw down is in time. Beautiful play there by the Indians to end the inning. Take a look at that on the Little Caesars. Instant replay. Pitch out the whole way. Snap throw down, no doubter.
In the inning for the Tigers.
Tagged him before he had a chance
off of 1 hit and no
to
errors.
get close to the bag. So the Indians get an unconventional 3-up, 3-down inning. The Tigers get no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on the bag. We'll head to the bottom of the 3rd inning where ICC and Coahoma are tied at 1. Back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com.
At Food Giant, serving you is our #1 priority. We offer the freshest produce, highest quality meats, tasty baked goods, and the best meats and cheeses in our deli department. Check out this week's specials.
Wow! Tyson breaded chicken, $2.99 a pack. Bush's Best Baked or Grill and Beans, 2 for $3. And russet potatoes, 5-pound bag, 2 for $4.
At Food Giant, you'll always find a staff member eager to help you find exactly what you need. Freshness, variety, value. Shop Food Giant today with several locations in North Mississippi.
Need money now? Get a Choice Pawn loan on things you already own, like guns, boats, campers, trailers, recreational vehicles, and just about everything else. Get a loan from Choice Pawn in Fulton and Tupelo. Get cash today. ChoicePawn.com.
Wow. Sonic Nights is the highlight of the summer.
Oh, yeah. There's probably some pretty big names here checking out these half-price floats.
Oh, everyone who's anyone is here tonight. Look, there are those 2 guys.
What are they famous for?
Huh. I think for eating here all the time.
We'll come back to that Sonic commercial there as the home plate umpire not too consistent on how many minutes we get in between innings, as this will be Kyle Krieger, the leadoff batter, start things off here in the bottom of the 3rd. Krieger, Lancaster, and Neighbors due up here for the Indians. 1-1 is your score here, bottom of the 3rd inning. And that's going to be returned to center, right back up the middle, and a base hit there for Krieger. Nice job there by Krieger. You get a good look at it right there. Just strong hit off the bat out to center field.
Now batting the center fielder, number 10, Jackson Lancaster.
His first hit of the day, 3rd hit of the game for the Indians. And now up is going to be Jackson Lancaster.
I just want to use your love tonight.
Lancaster singled in his first at bat, was left stranded at 3rd. ICC and Coahoma tied 1-1 here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. That pitch high and outside for a ball. Well, as we said, this game has some big-time playoff implications on the line here. A sweep by either team would be huge. A split would also be effective for both teams. Of course, Coahoma right now tied for 9th with Hines. Of course, we'll try to keep up with some of those standings and the changes throughout the day. That pitch high and outside for ball 2. 2-0 now is the count. Pearl River still ahead of everybody in the standings. They're 13-3 in conference play. Jones is second at 12-4. Meridian third. They're tied with Northwest at 12-6. Actually tied with Northwest and East Central. As this pitch popped up a mile high, left fielder's going to camp underneath it. And he does squeeze it for out number 1. So Krieger will head back to first. With 1 out now, this is going to bring up Hunter Neighbors to the plate.
Now batting the catcher, number 19, Hunter Neighbors.
So Hunter Neighbors will dig in and would like to see him duplicate the same hit he had last time as he had a rocket out to right field. Eventually advanced to second, but was left stranded in scoring position back in the first inning. Fastball gets away and the runner will head over to second. Well, now a base hit, especially out to right field, could be really big for the Indians. As that fastball just through the wickets of the catcher that time. As Krieger will head over to second after advancing on the wild pitch. Well, anything down to the gaps could be huge here. 1 out in the inning. ICC and Coahoma tied 1-1 here in the bottom of the third. That pitch just missing outside. 2-0 now is the count here to Hunter Neighbors. Of course, when we talked about it, you see Meridian, Northwest, and East Central all tied for third. ICC and Gulf Coast tied for that number 6 spot. ICC swept Gulf Coast, so they have that tiebreaker as that pitch missing low at the knees for ball 3 on Neighbors. 3-0 now goes the count. And then at 8 is Northeast. They won their first game today. And then Hines and Coahoma both tied for 9th. As that pitch, taking the whole way that time, was Neighbors for strike 1. So Northeast gets their first win of the day, so they are 10-9 in conference play. ICC 2 games ahead of them. As that's ball 4. So Neighbors showing off he's got a pair of good eyes. And when we talk about good eyes, we talk about Cagle Eye Center right here in Fulton. If you would like to set up an appointment to get your eyes checked, call 862-EYES.
Number 18,
That's 862-EYES. The Cagle Eye Center, one of the 2 newest sponsors here for ICC baseball and softball on FM 95 Sports and Let's Go ICCTV.com. The other being Legend Sports Grill, located right behind us here at the ICC baseball field. Runner tried to go to third, snap throw down to second. It's not in time after the ball got away from the catcher. Tried to bait him a little bit. Good job, though, by Krieger, quickly recognizing the ball didn't get away and get back to second with the slide. So Legend Sports Grill, a proud sponsor of ICC Athletics here on FM 95 Sports. Sedale takes that pitch right down Broadway for a strike. Evens the count now at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Runners on first and second here for the Indians. 1-1 is your score in the bottom of the third. Pickoff move to second. Throw in the dirt, got away, but Krieger sliding. Ball really didn't get that far away as it looked like it kind of bounced off the rib cage of Krieger. Rode over to where the shortstop usually is. Second baseman covered that in a hurry. And so no damage done there. 1-1 still the count here to Sedale. LeBryant takes a look at that pitch, high for a ball. 2-1 now is the count. Fisher starting to labor a little bit here in the third inning. Kind of struggling to find the strike zone. He was doing good early, getting ahead in the counts. Has fallen behind quickly so far here in the third, but there's Sedale, boy. Sedale trying to do something big with that one. Comes up empty, 2-2 now is the count. Boy, if he would have timed that one up, probably would have parked that one somewhere near the waterway. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runners on first and second for the Indians. Bottom of the third as Fisher will step off the mound. 1-1 is your score here, game 1. Saturday will be the Indians' last home game of the year, so if you want to get out and catch some ICC baseball, Saturday will be your last opportunity As this pitch foul back out of play, will stay at 2-2. The Indians will wrap up the regular season with 4 straight road games. So that's the reason why protecting home is going to be extremely important for the Indians to make the playoffs. And it all starts today with this doubleheader against Coahoma. Of course, game 1 of this doubleheader coming your way here on FM 95 Sports, as well as Let's Go ICC TV. Game 2 on Let's Go ICC TV only. Sedale, grounder to the second baseman. Got a chance to turn 2 here. There's 1. The throw over is not in time. Good job by Sedale legging that one out. Will reach on a fielder's choice. 4-6 on the putout of Hunter Neighbors. And now this is going to be Jacob Hall. Jacob Hall will come to the plate with 2 outs and runners on the corners. ICC and Coahoma tied at 1. We're in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Honors orientation going on right now on campus. If you are interested in coming to ICC, visit iccms.edu. Register for classes there. You can set up your orientations for the June-July months. As that ball pops up, gets away, but not far enough that time. Boy, a break there for the Indians, or excuse me, the Tigers. As it popped out of his glove, actually bounced off his shoulder and bounced straight up instead of bouncing away from the catcher. If the ball bounces away from him, the Indians could be leading this thing 2-1. So Hall takes that first pitch for a ball. 1-0 is the count. 2 outs, runners on the corners here for the Indians in the bottom of the 3rd. That pitch drifting up high for a ball. 2-0 now is the count here to Hall. Justin Medlin is on deck for the Indians. Hall struck out looking to end the first. Would like to extend the 3rd here. 2-0 is the count to Hall. He fouls this one back off the netting. 2-1 now goes the count. Jacob Hall is the DH here. He's also listed as a catcher. He's out of Petal, Mississippi, went to Petal High School. So awaiting the 2-1 offering here to Hall from Fisher. That pitch across for a strike. A slider that tailed back into the plate. A beautiful pitch there out of the hand of Fisher, even at the count now at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 1-1 is your score. Runners on the corners here for the Indians. Awaiting the 2-2 pitch, curveball, grounder, third baseman comes up with it, plenty of time, throws over, and gets the Tigers out of the inning with no damage done. 5-3 on the putout of Hall. So we've played 3. 1-1 is your score. The Indians get no runs on 1 hit, no error, and 2 left on base. We'll take a break and be back with more right after this on Let's Go ICCTV.com.
What if Mississippi's community and junior colleges didn't exist? You'd see a much different Mississippi, one without these degrees. And the jobs that come from them. One where many would fail to get a higher education because affordable community and junior college is their only hope. We're in danger of this happening thanks to state budget cuts. In fact, Mississippi once ranked number 1 in America's community and junior college systems. Number 1. But now has slipped out of the top 10, way out, which is already a consequence of budget cuts. So, what if community and junior colleges didn't exist? If budget cuts continue, we may well find out. Contact your legislator and tell them to support Mississippi's community and junior colleges.
Kyler Johnson.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we get set to start the top of the 4th inning. It'll be Kyler Johnson, Deontay Reeves, and Matthew Newcomb due up here for the Tigers. Swung on and missed on a curveball there, and strike 1 is to Johnson. Johnson, the DH, grounded out 4-3 to start the 2nd inning. Takes a look at that pitch, just missing for a ball. Good looking pitch, but missing for a ball. 1-1 now is the count. Curveball at the knees, called a strike. 1-2 now goes the count. Hear a smattering of applause here from some of the ICC faithful. I will say this, the crowd continues to fill up here at the ballpark. Swung on and missed for strike 3. That is the 4th Renaissance Bank strikeout of the game for
Now
Hootie.
batting the shortstop, number 11, Deontay Reeves.
And now up is going to be Reeves. Reeves singled, stole a base, but was left stranded back in the 2nd inning. Takes that first pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Boy, I tell you what, Hunter Hughes starting to feel it here in the top of the 4th inning. That pitch, ooh, a slider that just slipped off the table a little bit too soon. 1-1 now is the count. Fastball missing low, gets away. Nobody on base to really worry about there, so Hunter takes his time to go back to get it. 2-1 now is the count. Two-one pitch coming. This one a flare out to right field. Right fielder's going to have to hurry. Diving catch made out in right field by Drake Wallace. See if we can see that on the Little Caesars instant replay there. Drake coming out and making a great effort out there in right field, makes the diving catch
first baseman,
for out
15,
number 2.
Matthew Newcomb.
And now up is going to be Matthew Newcomb, 2 outs and nobody on. Newcomb struck out swinging, the first Renaissance Bank strikeout of the day for Hunter Hughes, and that first pitch at the knees for a strike. Ground ball, first baseman's going to get to it, slips down, going to throw it over to Hughes, but no, the throw gets away, and it's going to hit towards the dugout, and it's going to keep the runner at second. So a 2-base error there, E3, as I don't think really the first baseman, Justin Medlin, realized he had enough time to throw it. So he kind of rushed the throw there, and put it to you this way, Hunter, he would have had to be a little bit more than that 5-6 frame
Hector Torres.
to be able to go get that one. So a 2-out error there puts the runner on second. That's how the Indians were able to score. They scored on a 2-out error. So the Indians now going to try to find a way to get out of this inning, as this is Hunter Torres at the plate. He walked, was left stranded in scoring position back in the second. First pitch, almost called it a strike, but called it a ball as he reached up to point and changed his mind halfway through the strike call, called it a ball. 1-0 is the count here now to Hector Torres, the center fielder. Snap throw, and they've got the runner in a rundown situation here. Throw over to third, and just going to get him out quickly. Man, Hunter Neighbors, it's just been lights out behind the plate this season. Saw that he had a big lead. The runner slid, and you're going to see the complete there. 2-6-5 to end the inning. Second time that Hunter Hughes has ended the inning by picking off a runner from behind home plate. 1-1 is your score. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th inning, where to be the 6, 7, 8 batters. Medlin, Palmer, and Lewis due up for the Indians. Before we do that, we're going to take a break and hear a few words from our sponsors and be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com and FM 95 Sports.
The longer a person has diabetes, the more likely they are to develop diabetic retinopathy. If left untreated, diabetic retinopathy can lead to blindness. That's why it's important for diabetics to have a comprehensive eye examination with dilation once a year. I'm Dr. Laurie Cagle of Cagle Eye Center in Fulton. We offer comprehensive eye exams to provide diagnosis and treatment of various eye diseases. Browse our large selection of frames available in prescription and non-prescription. Call to schedule your appointment today at Cagle Eye Center in Fulton.
When I think of potential, I think of a matchstick. When a matchstick reaches its potential, it releases a flame that ignites everything around it. 2018 brings new potential for you and your life at Itawamba Community College, where you are each empowered to do great things. You can be better, accomplish more, and live a life that is above the bar. Your potential is here.
Leading off for the Indians, number 11, Justin Medlin.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we move now to the bottom of the fourth inning, where it'll be Justin Medlin leading things off for the Indians. Medlin struck out swinging in his first at bat, takes that first pitch outside for a ball. 1-1 is your score. We'll try to recap some of the scoring this inning, as Medlin fouls that one off towards the ICC dugout for strike one. Well, the first score of the game came on a double steal back in the top of the first inning when Joe G was able to steal home after the throw to second kind of jammed up the shortstop. Couldn't quite get it out of his hand in enough time. That allowed the first run to score. Then it was a 2-out error as a big healthy swing there by Medlin. Swing and a miss for strike two. And then it was a 2-out error after Drake Wallace put a line drive out to right field. It was off the glove of the right fielder. That allowed Connor Lewis to come around to score to tie things up and hold the phone. This one's got a chance here. If it'll go back to the wall, and it is going to be two players running into each other. The ball has fallen to the turf, and now Medlin is going to try to get in for a triple, and he will. Take a look back at that on the Little Caesars instant replay as the center fielder still down out there, as pretty hard collision out there in center field. The ball would have been a tough play for either one of them to get to, and Medlin slides in safely. And so now the go-ahead run is at third base, and it'll be Hayden Palmer coming to the plate. Good to see, though, that the center fielder, Hector Torres, kind of just shaking it off out there. The coach got halfway out. He kind of waved him back, said, just give me a chance to catch my breath. So let's call that a hit. Be a home field hit.
Now batting the third baseman, number 32, Hayden Palmer.
So now this will be Hayden Palmer, who popped up in foul territory in his previous at-bat over on the third base side. Palmer takes it to that first pitch, high for a ball. Hayden Palmer has 1 RBI on the year. Let's get number 2 for Palmer here at this at-bat. Palmer looks at that pitch, low and outside. 2-0 now is the count here on Hayden Palmer, the third baseman. Palmer has been a journeyman around the infield this year. He's played second, he's played third. I think he's even played some over at first base. And pops this one a mile high here. Shortstop going back. Now the left fielder can't get to it. It's going to drop for a base hit, and the run will score. Well, that one just hung up in the air for about 3 days, folks. Let's take a look at that on the Little Caesars instant replay. And Coach Collier a little upset that it's only a single as the ball dropped.
Now
and even though the throw came home,
number 13, Connor Lewis.
the runner was not able to advance to second. You got to run those out. That's kind of what Coach Collier was saying. A coaching opportunity there for Palmer, but he does get the run home, and the Indians lead now 2-1. This is going to be Connor Lewis, who walked, scored a run in his first at-bat of the day. Shows bunt, pulls it back, and takes it for strike one. Well, the wind has been whipping, but not enough to really cause any problems. I think the left fielder that time, with the sky being the way it is, it's easy to lose the ball in some of the clouds. I think the left fielder just kind of come in a little too hot and couldn't adjust back. Pickoff move over to first, not in time. So the Indians lead at 2-1 now. We're in the bottom of the fourth inning. There's no outs in the inning. ICC trying to make this a big inning here to get a little bit of breathing room. Lewis shows bunt and pulls back on it, takes it for a ball. 1-1 now is the count. Sophomore day for softball. It'll be sophomore day here in Fulton on Saturday. Those festivities will go on before the game. As Lewis lays down the bunt. Gonna have to hurry, only one play. Nobody's there. Nicely done by Connor Lewis, an infield single that time. A little confusion on who was to cover the bag that time between the second baseman and the pitcher. And by the time the second baseman tried to get there, Lewis had dove in head first safely. And now up is going to be Drake Wallace. So the Indians heating up a little bit here in the bottom of the fourth. They've already scored 1 run. Trying to pick up some of those insurance runs here. Wallace lays down the bunt. Only 1 play, and he's going to have to hurry, and it's going to be thrown into the outfield. This will be an error. Or actually, excuse me, a hit and an error. 1 run will score. Wallace thought about going to third. 2 runs will score, and the Indians cash in big there. So a hit for Wallace, as I don't think the throw would have got him in time. He advanced on the throw that allowed 2 runs to score, and the Indians cooking with grease now. Here in the bottom of the 4th inning, they've scored their 3rd run of the inning.
Now batting the second baseman, number 15, Kyle Krieger.
Now we go back to the top of the lineup here. This will be Kyle Krieger. Both those runs score on the error. Those will be unearned runs there. So now Krieger will dig in. Shows bunt, and he's going to lay it down. 1 play, and that's over to first, and it's not in time. Well, the Indians have had 3 straight infield singles off bunt attempts. Well, apparently they have figured out something that's working well here. 4-1 is your score. Runners on the corners with no outs.
Jackson Lancaster.
And this is going to be Jackson Lancaster coming to the plate. Well, the Indians did pick up some of those insurance runs, and of course when we talk about those insurance runs, we talk about your Itawamba County Farm Bureau agent, Joey Cox. For all your insurance needs, whether it be home, auto, or life, give Joey a call or stop by see him there on South Adams Street. There's a base hit. That one's going to get through, and it's going to score a run. Well, the Indians seeing the ball well, looking like beach balls floating up to the plate. 6th straight hit of the game, and now ICC leads it 5-1. An RBI single there for Lancaster that scores Drake Wallace. And now with runners on first and second, looks like Coahoma does have somebody up in the bullpen. So ICC trying to keep it going here.
Now
this is Hunter Neighbors at the plate.
Hunter Neighbors.
As Hunter Neighbors will dig in, ICC with 6 straight hits, 3 of those infield singles. Neighbors looks at a curveball that falls off the table a bit too soon. 1-0 is the count here to Hunter Neighbors. He is 1 for 1 today with a walk. He singled back in the first, was left stranded, walked in the third, was erased on a fielder's choice. 5-1 is your score, ICC. Ball in the dirt. Runners just want to go, and nobody there from third, and nobody covering second. And so everything going the way of the Indians here in the bottom of the 4th. ICC just can't do any wrong right now. And if you're an ICC fan, you're loving it. So 2-0 is the count here to Neighbors. Runners on second and third. No outs here in the inning. That pitch trips up high. 3-0 now is the count here on Hunter Neighbors. No outs, runners on second and third. Neighbors takes that one. And that was a gift for the Tigers, as that one was up in the zone above the lettering on the jersey, but called a strike. 3-1 now is the count. And there's ball 4, so now the bases will be loaded. Bases full of Indians, and now here comes LeBryant Sedale. He's 0 for 2 in the day. Did reach on a fielder's choice. That was back in the third inning. So now with bases loaded and no outs, LeBryant Sedale trying to come up and pick up an RBI here. Sedale does have 4 home runs on the year. He, Neighbors, and Lewis leading the category there for the Indians. 13 RBIs. Sedale looks at a curveball. Ball gets away. Runner thought about going from third. Did not. And we'll trap back to third base. Wow, what an inning here for the Indians. It started off with a triple by Medlin. He scored on a single by Palmer. And then back-to-back-to-back infield singles on bunts, as that one right up the middle, off the backside of the pitcher. And that's going to be an infield single there again. It does score a run. Let's take a look at that on the Little Caesars Instant Replay. Luckily, got a little bit of padding there in the seat for Fisher, and the trainer's going to come out and talk to Fisher here. It does score a run, and the Indians lead it now 6-1. And the base is still full of Indians here with no outs. So as I said, it's just a trainer coming out to look at the pitcher right now, maybe just talk to him and settle him down a little bit. The Indians have pushed across 5 runs on the board so far. Base is still loaded and no outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. This has been a dream inning here for the Indians. This is going to be Jacob Hall coming to the plate.
Number 8, Jacob Hall.
Hall is 0 for 2 on the day. He struck out looking in the first to end the first. Grounded out 5 for 3 to end the third. So Hall will dig in, bases loaded, no outs. Bottom of the 5th, ICC has scored 5 runs, looking for more. Curveball, very generous strike zone there as it floats across for a strike. 6-1 is the score. Bottom of the 4th, ICC has a chance to really blow up in this contest here. Fastball in the dirt, missed for a ball, blocked up nicely that time by the catcher, Rodriguez, for the Tigers. So 1-1 is the count here to Jacob Hall. Jacob, grounder, infield is in, jams up. They're going to try to get the runner at going home. No, they said drop the ball. And that's going to be a hit since there was no out recorded, an RBI. And the Indians now lead it 7-1.
Now batting the first baseman, number 11, Justin Medlin.
So the merry-go-round continues to spin here for the Indians. As Medlin could not check up on that swing, and as his momentum carried him through for strike 1. Was nearly hit by that pitch, so 0-1 is the count now. No outs, runners all over the place for the Indians. Bases loaded here for ICC. They've scored 6 runs so far here in the 4th inning. Trying to add to that here. Justin Medlin at the plate. Bottom of the 4th, ICC leading at 7-1 with no outs. Medlin's got power to really open up this ball game here. Instead, the pitch behind him, ball gets away. Runner's going to try to score from third, and he will. And the runners will advance. That ball was behind Medlin. And now it's 8-1 as Neighbors was able to scamper home. Runners advance on the wild pitch into scoring position. So now with runners in second and third, 1-0 is the count here to Medlin. And that ball gets away. They're going to try to score another one from third, and they will. Sedale will jog in for the 9th run of the inning. Or excuse me, 8th run of the inning, I should say. 9th run of the game. And the runner able to advance to third on the wild pitch. So now Medlin, who had an opportunity to drive in 3 runs, now can only drive in 1. So that pitch drifts up high. 3-1 now is the count. It looks like they're going to ride the back of Fisher here as they are still looking for their first out of the inning. Indians have scored 8 runs. 3-1 pitch coming. Swung on and missed by Medlin. 3-2 now. is the count. Medlin was looking to see where that one went before he made contact, as he was head way out of that one. Now 3-2 is the count here on Justin Medlin, the first baseman. There's a rip down the line, but foul. So we'll stay at 3-2. Medlin timed that one up nicely, just a little bit too far ahead of that one. If that one stays fair, he's running for days. 3-2 is your count. No outs and a runner at third. And Medlin rips one, and it's down the line. It's going to be fair. That'll score and run, and Justin will head into second. Will slide in safely for a RBI double. Take a look at that one on the Little Caesars instant replay. Hey, here's an interesting stat, folks. Justin Medlin starting the inning off with a triple, now has a double, and ICC leads it 10-1. So a big inning here for the Indians. They've put 9 runs on the board so far. And now this is going to be Hayden Palmer. And now the Indians look like they're going to get somebody loose in the bullpen. It's been a minute since Hunter Hughes has thrown a pitch. Actually, it's like it's just going to be Hunter going to get loose. So Palmer, who had an RBI single in this inning in his last at-bat, will dig in here, try to keep the inning going for the Indians. And this pitch popped up. Right fielder is going to drift over and will squeeze it for the putout. Going to try to advance the runner to third. The throw is not in time, so that'll be a sacrifice fly for Hayden Palmer. Of course, when we talk about those sacrifice flies, we talk about the ICC BSU. Of course, they're over the concession stand here. They meet.
Shortstop, number 13.
They meet Monday nights at 7:07, Wednesdays at lunch. That was today. All they ask is you bring $2 and a friend. Don't forget the $2 for your friend. That's the ICC BSU luncheon every Wednesday. Brother Chris Burrows and company always doing a great job there for the ICC BSU. At first pitch across for a strike, as this is Connor Lewis. Lewis singled in this inning, scored on an error. He also walked and scored a run back in the second. So 1 out in the inning now, runner at third. Curveball, Lewis just couldn't quite check up on it. And the count now goes 0-2 here on Connor Lewis. Being joined in the ICC Foundation broadcast booth by Coach Sean Cannon as they just got out of football practice. And Coach, welcome to the broadcast. Rick may want you to walk up every 4th inning as they have hung up 9 runs on the board and still have the chance to score some more here in the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, got 1 out there, and that's pretty stout inning for sure.
Swinging at strike 3, the throw down to first is going to be in time for the putout. Second out of the inning now, as Lewis is retired for the first time this afternoon. That's a Renaissance Bank strikeout for Fisher, and that is going to be his 3rd strikeout of the game.
The right fielder, number 30, Drake Wallace.
Now up is going to be Drake Wallace. Coach, you know a little bit about Drake. He played a member of the football team. Heck of an athlete out of Mabry.
Sure did. He played a good role for us this year and played a lot of defense for us and special teams and excited to go see him play both sports. That's pretty awesome to be able to do that and play 2 sports there in college for sure.
Swung on and missed for a strike on the first pitch. He reached on an error, was thrown out trying to stretch that into a 3-base error, but he did push across and run. And this curveball lifted. It's got a chance.
Here we go.
Deep to the wall. See you later. A 2-run home run by Drake Wallace. And, Coach, you might be our lucky charm.
Well, it might have been because Drake did really good on his test today in my class. How about that?
I like it.
But that was an awesome hit there for sure.
Yeah, that was a no-doubter.
No doubter.
As that pushes across runs 10 and 11 in the bottom of the 4th here. And ICC now leads it 12-0. And we have batted around once, and now we're going back to the top of the lineup with Kyle Krieger. And that might do it here for Justin Fisher. And Fisher probably will gladly give away the baseball here. So that's going to do it for Fisher. We're going to have a choice pawn pitching change. When we come back, we'll take a break and be back with more right after this on Let'sGoICCTV.com and FM 95 Sports.
This broadcast on Let'sGoICCTV.com is presented by Renaissance Bank, Little Caesars, Food Giant, the Sonic of Fulton, your Etowah County Farm Bureau agent Joey Cox, the ICC BSU, Bank of Oklahoma, Legend Sports Grill, the ICC Wesley Foundation, Choice Palm, Kegel Eye Center, Tupelo Coca-Cola Bottling Works, the ICC Alumni Association, and the ICC Foundation.
Need money now? Get a choice pawn loan on things you already own, like guns, boats, campers, trailers, recreational vehicles, and just about everything else. Get a loan from Choice Pawn in Fulton and Tupelo. Get cash today. ChoicePawn.com.
And welcome back, as we do have a choice pawn pitching change, as this is going to be Austin Pace coming into pitch here for the Tigers. And boy, I tell you what, he's going to have a little work to do to be able to come back and try to get the win today. The Indians have pushed across 11 runs so far here in the inning. There's finally 2 outs in the inning and nobody on. It was a 2-run home run by Drake Wallace that cleared the bases. Let's take a look at some Sonic stats here on Austin Pace for the Tigers. He is 1-0 in the year. He's pitched 13 innings, giving up 25 hits, 21 runs, all of those earned. He's walked 11, struck out 8, and has a 14.54 ERA. And this will be Kyle Krieger to start things off here for the, or excuse me, not start things off for the Indians, but to keep things going for the Indians. He's 2 for 2 in this inning. Curveball, it was a nasty one that hangs in a little too much inside for a ball. Joining the ICC Foundation broadcast booth by Coach Sean Cannon. Of course, Sean and the Indians going through spring practice right now. And Coach, I know that's an exciting time of year when football kind of gets back around a little bit for you.
It is, you know, and we just wrapped it up today, and I told the kids, I said 2 things. Spring is over, and didn't get anybody hurt. And I said that's kind of what you want to come out with in spring, and you know, develop some guys there, and you know, put them in more game situations, and that's kind of what we did this spring.
That pitch high for a ball, 2-1 now is the count here to Kyle Krieger. That pitch missing outside, 3-1 now is the count. Now, Coach, where do you go from here? I know the guys are getting close to finals, graduation coming up for some of the sophomores that didn't leave early. So where does the team go from here?
Yeah, get back in the weight room a little bit here in the next couple weeks. You know, have exit meetings with me and just kind of, you know, talk about their year and kind of where we see them going, and then get them out of here for a little bit, you know, give us a little break as coaches, hit a little spring recruiting, and then, you know, back at it in the summertime.
Swinging miss, strike 3 on Kyle Krieger to end the inning there, but my, oh my, what an inning it was for the Indians. 11 runs on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hits, and 1 error, and nobody left on base. So the Indians hang up 11 runs on the board there in the bottom of the 4th inning. Let's keep it here real quick as we were joined by Coach Sean Cannon. Coach, I know, of course, this time of year we've also got the spring tournament coming up, or spring tournament, the golf tournament coming up, a big event for you, a big fundraiser there. Kind of talk about that and let everybody know the details on the upcoming golf tournament.
Yeah, I think it's going 8th or 9th year, I believe, coming up there for our ICC golf tournament there at Big Oaks in Tupelo, Friday, May 25th. And we usually start there at 12:30, and guys get there early, hit a few rounds there on the driving range. Then we get after it there and have a great meal afterwards. A lot of great time to fellowship and you know, visit with each other, and it's always a great way for us to be able to provide for our football team during the school year by the funds that we do raise with a golf tournament.
Well, Coach, I do have one question. Will Romy's be catering again this year?
Always. It doesn't do any better than what they do down there. You know, good barbecue and beans and slaw and pretty much everything that comes from there is pretty awesome.
I'm a banana pudding guy. That's one of those things. I tried last year to walk out with a tray of banana pudding, but Julia wouldn't let me do it.
No, you got to avoid it sometimes, but then sometimes you can't. But they do a great job for us there, and but it's always been a great time for us to be able to do it right before Memorial Weekend, and always finish up there, and it's always a great event.
We do have a new pitcher in the game here for the Indians. This is Whit Roten coming in to pitch for the Indians. Let's take a look at some Sonic stats on Whit this season. If I can find them real quick. There we go. No record on the year so far. He's only pitched 5 innings. He's given up 4 hits, 3 runs. All 3 of those have been earned. He's walked 5. Struck out 4 as a 5.40 ERA. So Roten will come in here and try to kind of just cruise to what the Indians hope to be a short win here in Game 1. There's a ground ball, first base.
There you go, 1 pitch, 1 out.
And it's going to be a race over there and a good finish.
Nice call by the ump there. I remember Whit pitching there at East Union, state championship.
Yep.
For those guys, did a heck of a job there, playing for Coach Basil over there.
Of course, that's a very, very proud baseball program. Now, I tend to get after the umpires sometimes, but Coach has a little bit more ground to stand on than I do. Of course, you call some baseball games, and do you still do that?
Still doing it. Yep. And get to see a lot of these guys around the area play, and a lot of our kids that are on our team now had a chance to be able to call them, at their high schools, and so it's pretty neat to see these guys. There we go, 3 pitches and 2 outs.
That was a ground ball over to third base that time, as the first one was 3 unassisted and then 5-3 on the putout of G. And so with 2 away now, this will be Zach Gilder coming to the plate.
Now batting the left fielder.
But being able to see these kids, in their high schools, and then coming here and you see the success they do have, for their high school, and being able to come here and turn it right over to, to ICC, and it shows. They've done a great job of getting really good players here, and that's why our record just is what it is.
That first pitch missing low for a ball. Fastball popped up. Neighbor's going to drift over, but it's going to get out of play. 1-1 now is the count. Well, Coach, you can kind of talk about this, also football, baseball alike. There's a little bit of difference. Sometimes you go to a 4-year school, you got that red shirt year. Sometimes you do that here on the JUCO level as well. But usually when you come out of high school, you got to be ready to produce on the JUCO level.
That's right. In every sport, from football, baseball, basketball, tennis, every sport that we play here, that's one thing that we're all of us as coaches ask our freshmen to come in and be contributors, from every sport there. And so, a lot of expectations more on coaches that we put on these kids, and they probably know that they have coming in for us, to produce.
That pitch drifts high. 3-1 now is the count here on Gilder. Fastball missing just low for a ball, and that'll be a walk. So a 2-out walk issued to Gilder. Now up will be Marquellis Edgston, the right fielder, as he reached on a fielder's choice back in the first, flew out to center to start the third. And so far so good for the Indians, as they got a little bit of room to wiggle with here. In the top of the 5th inning, they lead 12-1 after an 11-inning in the bottom of the 4th. And any coach, if you can get that type of production, I know you would love to see 11 touchdowns in a quarter,
yep.
but 11 runs in 1 inning. Rick might be happy with
that.
Yeah,
you'd kind of equate that to football for having a 28-point lead, probably. That's a hard run to come back from 11 down. So you can play a little more free on defense, and kind of throw it in there and make them hit it and make plays on them.
So back-to-back pickoff moves over to first. Neither tag applied. 1-0 is the count here to Edgeworth.
Him and O'Just were high school teammates, Ripley High School, playing against each other today.
And another throw over. This one in the dirt, nicely scooped up over there at first base by Medlin. Interesting to see him throwing over to first. One of those with 2 outs, just go after the batter.
Come on after the batter.
Fastball, nice little tail away from the batter that time. 1-1 now is the count. Well, Coach mentioned it, tennis, they'll be in the state tournament starting tomorrow. I'll actually pack up and leave once we wrap up tonight and head down to Meridian for a couple of days, and then we'll pick up softball Saturday in Meridian. Swung on miss, and another one.
Oh, yeah. Nice play.
Third time today that Hunter Neighbors has picked off a runner this afternoon. And I tell you what, there's a reason why Ole Miss is ready for him to sign a piece of paper, as he has looked impressive behind the plate today. 12-1 is your score. We'll move to the bottom of the fifth. But before we do that, let's take a break and hear a few words from our sponsors. Back with more right after this on FM 95 Sports and Let'sGoICCTV.com.
This broadcast on Let'sGoICCTV.com is presented by Renaissance Bank, Little Caesars, Food Giant, the Sonic of Fulton, your Etowah County Farm Bureau agent, Joey Cox, the ICC BSU, Bank of Oklahoma, Legend Sports Grill, the ICC Wesley Foundation, Choice Pawn, Kegel Eye Center, Tupelo Coca-Cola Bottling Works, the ICC Alumni Association, and the ICC Foundation.
You could say it's about the clubs. You could say it's about the ball. You could even say it's about the course or the weather. But what it really comes down to is consistency and hard work. Over and over and over again. At Renaissance, we understand consistency. We understand hard work. Most importantly, we understand you. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. That's actually a final score here in Game 1. I forgot the NJCAA did change those rules this year, where it's 10 after 5, 8 after 7 in 9-inning games. So the Indians pick up a very impressive 12-1 victory here in Game 1. And, Coach, it's all you, man. You walk up, they score 11 runs in the bottom of the fourth, and your football player, Drake Wallace, highlights that with a 2-run home run right here in front of you.
Sure did.
Good day to be an Indian here in Game 1.
No doubt. You know, I've been able to catch these guys a good bit, you know, maybe 2 or 3 innings of time that they play, and then they get better as they go on. I know that's a huge win to get for these guys, and, you know, especially moving forward in playoffs and those type things. And you got to, you got to win the first one to get to the second one. And those guys handle business today for sure.
Hunter Neighbors improves to 3-0 on the year. Justin Fisher falls to 1-2 for Coahoma. Let's take a look at some Sonic stats. And let's start with Coahoma. They fall to 19-16, 7-10 in conference play. Joe G was 2 for 3 on the day. He had a pair of singles, a run scored, and a stolen base. Zach Gilder was 1 for 2 with a single, a strikeout, and a walk. He was actually picked off 2-3 to end the top of the 5th inning. Marquelis Edgeworth was 0 for 2. He reached on a fielder's choice, stole a base, was left stranded. Alexis Rodriguez was 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Colton Norris was 1 for 2. He had a single but was thrown out 2-3 to end the 3rd. Kyler Johnson was 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Deontay Rivas was 1 for 2 with a single and a stolen base. He was left stranded in scoring position back in the 2nd. And then it was Matthew Newcomb. He was 0 for 2 on the day. He did reach on an error, was thrown out, picked off by the catcher once again to end the 4th inning. And then Hector Torres 0 for 1 with a walk. For the Indians, it was Kyle Krieger. He was 2 for 4 with a pair of singles, a run scored, and a strikeout. For Jackson Lancaster, he was 2 for 3 with an RBI single and a run scored. Hunter Neighbors was 1 for 1 on the day with a pair of walks and a run scored. LeBrian Siddell was 1 for 3 with an RBI single and a run scored. Jacob Hall was 1 for 3 on the day with an RBI single and a run scored. He also struck out. Justin Medlin was 2 for 3 with a with a double and a triple, 2 runs scored and an RBI. He also struck out. Hayden Palmer was 1 for 2 on the day with a sacrifice fly, an RBI single, and a run scored. Connor Lewis was 1 for 2 on the day with an with a single and a run scored. He also struck out and walked and scored a run. Drake Wallace was 2 for 3 on the day. He had a 2-run home run, a single, and a run scored back in that 11-run bottom of the 4th inning. He also reached on an error that allowed Connor Lewis to score. Man, Coach, this is where it gets tough, trying to pick a Legend Sports Grill star of the game. I mean, everybody played. Let's call it a team effort. The entire team. When you get a performance like this, and you being a coach can really echo this as well, when you get a performance like this out of your team, it's really hard to pick out one individual that did so well. So you really got to shine down on the entire team.
You do, but you know, me being a defensive coach, when you give up 1 run, you know that and 5 hits, that's pretty impressive. You know, especially the way guys can get hot and hit the ball, and I've always heard Coach Collier talk about pitching, defense, and then hitting, and really all three of them came to play today. Even the scoreboard out there says 73 hits. That's a heck of a day there. No.
Yeah, we got a little bit of glitch on the scoreboard there.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, what can you pick? You got triples, doubles, home runs, runs scored, walks. I mean, that's.
If anything, you could almost go with Hunter Neighbors being a defensive guy. He picked off 3 runners this afternoon in game 1. That's unheard of.
When you don't have base runners, they can't score. Just like you hold them out of the end zone and make them kick field goals, and you're gonna have a little better chance to even them up for sure. But man, what a great win for our guys down there.
Absolutely. Your final line on the game, it was 1 run on 5 hits, 2 errors for Coahoma. For ICC, 12 runs, 13 hits, 1 error. ICC improves to 24-9 overall, 10-7 in conference play. And that's big because if you look at it, Coach, there is a log jam for those final 3 spots in the conference. Northeast earlier today improved to 10-9, and ICC now moves into sole possession, depending on what Gulf Coast did, of 6th place at 10-7 in conference play, staying in chase for possibly hosting that opening round of the tournament in 3, maybe 4 weeks as well.
That's right. Yep. Anytime you can check these W's, anything that you do, especially baseball, because you get a chance to play a whole bunch of them, and everybody this time of year is gunning for each other, and it's always huge to get that first win and try to get 2 here now, and be really key for them to come out on top, be 11-7 there if they get this next one in there, and keep setting yourself up for being able to host. It's always good not to have to get on that bus and travel.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to do it here for the Renaissance Bank post-game report. Adam Gore, Coach Sean Cannon joining us here in the ICC Foundation broadcast booth. The Indians score 11 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning to pick up a run rule victory here in game 1, 12-1 over Coahoma. The next game will start in about 15 to 20 minutes. It'll be available only on Let'sGoICCTV.com, the red channel. We do thank everyone for tuning in here on FM 95 Sports. We'll be back next week here on FM 95 Sports with either baseball or softball action coming your way. I believe it may be softball with playoffs starting. So we'll see you next time here on Let's Go ICC TV and FM 95 Sports. Have a blessed evening, and as always, roll Tribe.
You could say it's about the clubs. You could say it's about the ball. You could even say it's about the course or the weather. But what it really comes down to is consistency and hard work. Over and over and over again. At Renaissance, we understand consistency. We understand hard work. Most importantly, we understand you. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you.